Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trent University's virtual winter open house. We're excited to welcome you to the International Development Studies session. I'm Sarah, and I will be the moderator of this session. With me today, I have Professor Paul Schaefer and students Amelia Metcalf and Emmy Vera Romero, and they'll all be giving you some presentations to learn a little bit more about the International Development Studies program. We are excited for the path you have ahead of you and look forward to sharing all of the reasons why Trent has been ranked the #1 undergraduate university in Ontario for 11 consecutive years. During this session, you can ask questions in the chat, and at the end of this session, we will have a short question and answer period with the members of our panel. I invite you to add your questions in the chat box, which you can find at the bottom of your screen. This presentation is offered with closed captioning. To enable closed captioning, please select the 3 dots at the bottom of your screen and select Show Subtitles. On our events page, you will see a few live chats happening today. Drop into the one that makes the most sense for you and have your questions answered, or type your question in the little chat box on the main page and we will get you an answer. With that, we will get started with the presentation, and I'll hand the floor over to Professor Paul Schaefer.
Okay, thanks so much, Sarah. And you are all welcome. Thank you for zooming in. We have a small group, but that's good because hopefully after you guys can pose some questions to me or Emmy and Amelia, and they can give you some more information about the program. So the way we're going to do this today, we got our 30 minutes, so we're going to be quick here. Is I'm going to talk for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to give a little presentation, just explaining what IDS is and, why it's probably, why we think it's a worthwhile endeavor and what you can do with an IDS degree, that kind of stuff. I'll go for 10 minutes, and I'm going to defer to Emmy and Amelia, who are going to tell you more about the Trent and Ghana program. They're past participants. They're my Trent and Ghana assistants this year, but they were in Ghana a few years back. So they'll tell you more about this program. And then we're going to open it up. So please, please, please be at ease, ask questions. Now's a good time. Put anything to us. We want your questions, and either I or Emmy and Amelia will be glad to answer them. Okay, so let's kick it off then. Can everyone see the screen? Is that good? We're good? The presentation? Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
Good. Okay, so here is the core presentation. What's IDS and why does it matter? And so really I want to talk about 4 things. And those 4 things are, what are we talking about? Sometimes the word international development studies is not quite clear what we have in mind. And why does it matter in our world today? How we teach it here at IDS, and then ultimately what you can do with this degree. Okay, so let me move ahead. Okay, so the word development, typically it can mean at least 2 things. And one is the doing development stuff. So if you're an NGO worker or UN worker or whatever, it's that kind of thing. And then secondly, it's development in the much broader sense of the term, which is really a process of change or transformation as societies move from low-income societies to higher-income societies. So otherwise phrased, this is the process of the shift from so-called traditional society to so-called modern society. And there's all kinds of aspects of this. There's a move from agricultural societies to industrial ones. There's changes in social relationships, kinship, gender. There's changes in political regimes, forms of governance, so on and so forth. So really IDS is about these latter set of issues, and just about, I think, every single course that we have, it addresses one or more of them. Okay, a second preliminary point is for us an entry point to kind of understanding these long-term processes of change is inequality. Okay, so why? What's the big deal about inequality? So inequality of wealth, of income, of power, both within countries, but also globally between countries, is part of the explanation for a lot of the stuff that we study. Doesn't explain everything, and it's not the only explanation, but it's a big part. And so just for example, let me say a couple words about climate change, which I lectured on this week. So this is a problem largely of our making. And when I say our, I mean countries like Canada, where just about all carbon in the atmosphere is due to emissions from today's high income countries and rapidly industrializing countries. But it's a it's a phenomenon that where the brunt of it is going to be borne, the brunt of the harmful consequences are going to be borne by the global south, low income countries. And these are the same countries that have the least say when determining what to do about it in terms of global agreements. So otherwise stated, inequality is really quite integral to understanding climate change. That's one example. Okay, second, why does it matter? Like, ideas. Why is this something which, is potentially a valuable thing to do? Well, there are ethical reasons, and this has to do with moral or ethical imperatives to right injustice, to alleviate human suffering, and so on. But just putting those aside for a second, the other core reason it matters is because, the world is just different. It was different than it was, when I was your age, and it's a lot more global, it's a lot smaller, and it's a lot more interconnected. And this plays out in multiple ways. So for example, like COVID, right? It probably, we don't know, but probably started in China. Didn't respect borders. It zipped around the world once, twice, 3 times. And likely, unfortunately, it probably will do so again. Climate change, as I said, this is a paradigm global issue that affects everyone and requires global collective action to address. War, instability, look at what's going on in Ukraine right now. And this translates into huge, massive flows of people fleeing for safety. And, all other kinds of stuff I didn't include in the bullets, but if you look at really the nature of our economies now, there's so much more connected. The globalization of everything produced and services. So, a huge change in my lifetime has been the movement, the hollowing out of industry in Southern Ontario. Most of the stuff now, this low-end manufacturing is made in East Asia and Southeast Asia. And then lastly, social media. All of this is captured almost instantaneously around the world. So, it's right there directly in our view. So this kind of stuff is not ending. It's going to increasingly be part of your lives. And having some international aspect of your education is going to be increasingly important, both for you, but also for prospective employers who want to, see that you have these insights into these types of issues. Okay, so quickly, how we teach this at IDS. Okay, so one is holistic in the sense that involves economics, culture, politics, history. Okay, we combine that in our course offerings. And likewise, the analytical perspectives are interdisciplinary. So IDS itself, we have economists, political economists, sociologists, anthropologists, political scientists, and other. And then comparative, and that, we're looking at countries in different regions of the global south, but also comparatively between global north, so, which used to be called the developed world, countries like Canada, and their relationship to the global south. And then cross-cutting themes that we offer are gender and the environment. Okay, so just to put a little bit more meat on that, to tell you the actual types of courses that we offer, the topics. So here's just a short list. That includes gender, international development, world food system, human rights, global migration, environment, development, social movements, issues in global health. There's more to it. And, if this is of interest, you can see it in the calendar, but this just gives you a flavor of what we mean when we're holistic and interdisciplinary. But in addition to the in-class stuff, we also offer experiential learning opportunities. So Emmy and Amelia are going to talk about Trent in Ghana, which is really our marquee experiential opportunity. But there's other stuff, and there's a community-based research course we offer, and together with partners in both Peterborough and also Halliburton. And also going forward, we're introducing a new co-op program where over the course of your degree, you'll have 3 work terms where you're placed with some organization or agency that works in international development. Okay, so let's get to the kind of the end game. It's not necessarily the end game because you can get a lot just by expanding your mind. But at the end of the day, if you want this to translate into a job, which I think we all do, the good news is our students are incredibly successful in the labor market. And we have data, and we've collected data both 6 months after graduation, but also longer term. And employment rates are very, very high. So within 6 months of graduating, we have 90% of students are working, and then it's even higher longer term. And the types of jobs that our students do, it's really quite varied. And around a quarter or so of students will do something related to development, who work, may work in with the UN or with NGOs or something like that. But as you can see from the list, there's all kinds of stuff. And every year, students go into law school, they do work as policy analysis, they become teachers, journalists, filmmakers, consultants, private sector, and so on. And so really the way we position our program is it's not really a training school to spit out development practitioners, although, a quarter of them do that, but it's more a well-rounded, well-grounded undergraduate degree in the social sciences. And typically, most of our students, and it's an extremely high percentage, around 75 plus, will end up doing either graduate work or a professional school after. And typically that's the norm in the social sciences, where if you want to get a job with a career trajectory where you can really move up, you need a master's in most cases. Okay, so let me sum up. I've spoken a little bit too long, so I'm going to sum up right now. So we live in a world of incredible affluence and deprivation. Inequality is a defining feature of our world. It's also a global world, a smaller world. And so IDS, gives you a better sense to understand how this all hangs together, how many of our problems are fundamentally interlinked. And it does so through a critical interdisciplinary program in a small collaborative learning environment. So all the classes, once you get past second year, are really, are maxed out at about 20. So most of your third year and fourth year courses are small. So you get a chance to actually chat with your profs and meet them. Like I know all my students by first name, and also get a chance to chat with your peers and, get to know them in a much more close way than if you were in one of these huge institutions. So I am done. That's good. Thank you so much. And now I'm really happy to defer to Amelia and Emmy for them to tell us about Trent in Ghana.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you for your presentation, Paul. I'd like to welcome everyone. And I'm just gonna share my screen.
So maybe I'll say a little bit about me and Emmy. So we are this year's Trent in Ghana assistants. We went to Ghana as part of the Year Abroad program in 2019-2020, and we love our experience so much that we had to come and help Paul out this year and promote the program and everything. Yes, so I guess, would you like to start, Emmy?
Sure.
Sorry.
Can you see the presentation?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so sorry, welcome to Trent in Ghana, our presentation. It is a year abroad in West Africa. And we are gonna cover culture and food, Cape Coast, which is the first half of the program, Tamale, which is the second half, and then placements. So all the internship availabilities that you're gonna have. So just a little bit about Ghana. Ghana was the first independent country in Africa in 1956, and the independence was led by Kwame Nkrumah. He was the first prime minister and president of Ghana, and he has been a scholar who has contributed so much to decolonial theory and African theory as well. Ghana is bordered by 3 French-speaking countries, which is kind of curious because Ghana itself, it was a Portuguese, a Dutch, and a British colony, so their main language is English. So the countries around it are Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, and Togo. And due to its crazy varied regions, there are over 50 languages that you're gonna hear around the north and in the south, but you learn Fanti and Frafra while you're there, and that just helps you get around and like hail cabs and get your produce in the market. So just to give you an idea of what Ghana looks like, here you can see Kakum National Park, which is one of the excursions that you do with the TIG group. You see is a lagoon that one of the professors takes you to study like the environment around Cape Coast. And this picture with the motorcycle, that's on the Upper East region, closer to Burkina Faso. And it's really, really dry because in Ghana, there's only 2 seasons, the dry and the wet season. So during the dry season in the north, you get the harmattan, which is a lot of dust.
Mm-hmm. So it goes from like tropical coastal to like super dry and arid. So it's really interesting to like travel the country.
Yeah.
Yum.
Really good. And here you could see the delicious food that you're gonna get to eat. These heal your soul and make you whole. My favorite one is the first one, groundnut stew and umotuo, which is like a peanut butter stew. And you eat it with steamed rice. And here you could see probably guinea fowl or chicken. Another one of my favorites is fufu and light soup. So fufu is boiled cassava and plantain that's pounded into this like dough that you put in the middle of the stew. And you can dip it in the soup. It's so good and tasty and flavorful because they use a lot of tomatoes, onions, and different spices. And then we have red wheat and plantain. So don't fret, there are some vegetarian options out there, which is, this is a bean stew with the same kind of spices that you would use to cook the groundnut stew and the light soup, but they just kind of melt in your mouth, and the plantain is fried. So it's like little, like mashed potatoes almost, I would say.
Yeah, I love plantain. And it's so hard to get in Canada, so I miss it so
Yeah.
much. Okay, so Cape Coast. So this is kind of getting more into the academic side of things. So when we're in Cape Coast, we're there for 2 months, and you have 2 seminars that are worth 1 full credit each. Um, so you'll be doing the Ghana seminar and the Africa seminar, and you get to cover all these different topics. You are learning with Ghanaian profs from the University of Cape Coast, but it's like a combination of them and then Trent curriculum. So you get all of the requirements you need for like your 3rd year IDS or anthro courses, but you're learning from Ghanaian professors and getting their perspectives that you would not get in Canada. And then here we just have pictures of like one of the classrooms that's one of the bigger ones we'd use for workshop days. So you can see all of us sitting in the circle. And then there's a picture outside of the development studies office and some of the professors. And then there's a photo of Cape Coast Castle, which is one of our other excursions. And this is where a lot of the slave trade occurred in Ghana. So it's a very sobering experience, but we do get this historical and this historical perspective on colonialism that I think is so essential, especially in international development studies. Yeah. And then our next section here is homestay. So while we're in Cape Coast for the first 2 months of the year, we will be staying with a host family on campus. Usually it's professor's family. So you will live with one other TIG participant, and then you'll live in a house either on the old site or new site, and you'll like be able to walk to class and everything. And they'll provide you 2 meals a day, and they'll kind of like set you up for living in Ghana. Like my host family taught me how to like wash laundry by hand and like all of these types of things that will really like set you up for the freedom that you get in the second half of the program. And they also teach you a lot about the culture, like in your early days of arriving in Ghana. So that's awesome too. And that's Emmy with her host family.
Yeah, Afua. She was great. I'm also wearing a necklace that she made because she was a seamstress and would also like make beads and bead necklaces and different like jewelry. So she gave me that. And there's my little host sister too. She was my alarm clock. And yeah, my host dad took me around Cape Coast. He gave us a little tour, so that was also really good.
Mhm. And then we have Tamale, which is the second academic part of the TIG year. And so this is November to early December, and this is another full year credit that you do in one semester. So it's also quite condensed. But this one is a little less theory based and like course based, and it's kind of more hands on because we start to learn about participatory learning approaches. And we do actually 1 day of community based research in a rural community that the program has ties with. So it's very interesting. You get to try out all these methods, and you actually do evaluate some type of real Ghanaian policy that is in place and in fact impacting people's lives. So it's really amazing to have that opportunity. And at this time we will be doing, there's like group living. So this is a picture of the compound where everyone had like their own rooms, and it was kind of like a horseshoe
Yeah.
shape. And so everyone was like in the same area together, but you still have a roommate. So it's a kind of a different living situation. Then with your host families, a little bit more freedom, but you're still like with everyone that you know. So that's really good too. And then
Yeah,
there's a
just
picture.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Just a little bit of this picture. We have a previous TIG alumni there, but they're doing a community scorecard, which helps you evaluate the program that we were doing, which was the livelihood empowerment approach, I think, or program. Yeah, it was where a little bit of money was given to the extreme poor. So we just wanted to see how efficient it was. So you could see all the women in the village that we visited participating in there.
Mhm. And then our last section of the year is after the winter break. So this is a placement. So at this time, you will have applied like during the first semester to an organization of your choice, and they will decide if they'll take you on as a placement student. And during this time you'll be working with that organization, whatever work they decide to give you basically. But you can choose to kind of be in a more office setting or more hands-on field work type of thing as well. And during this time you'll be doing whatever work that they set up for you. You'll be taking notes and writing your final report, which kind of evaluates the efficiency of the program and what you learned from them, because it's designed to show you the inner workings of an NGO, essentially. How does an NGO operate, and programs how do programs get implemented and all of these things. So it's really hands-on, and it's a really great experience to see kind of how things get set in motion. And then, like it says there, you write a final report and you do a presentation to all of your classmates at the end of the year so everyone gets to see what everyone has been doing. Because you can literally be anywhere in the country at this time, and you also will be responsible for finding your own accommodation at this time with support from the program. But this is like a really, you have a lot more freedom during this time to kind of do your own thing and explore. Um, in the photo here, I was working with the Tlensi Area Women's Development Project, which is in the Upper East region of Ghana. And there I was helping my auntie who's there in the green dress. She was also my boss. I call her auntie, but she's Doris. And she was doing um, a project where we showed an American exchange program. It was like an American university that came, and we were showing them kind of all of these different things that Tawadep does. So they were doing a shea butter demonstration, and I was helping out with that in that picture.
So I worked in the Beacon Academy, which was a low-fee private school that its mission was to get education to rural areas. So I taught English during the week, and during the weekends, I was a facilitator of the Girls Empowerment Club. So you can see in the picture, we're talking about gender equity, and the whole point was to explore how women and girls could be actors of change in their own community. So we would do a lot. Here in the picture, the girls are doing a reading. So we do collective reading at the end of the club. Yeah. So yeah, that concludes our presentation. Yeah, thank you for coming. And
Obviously, there's a lot more to say about Ghana.
yeah.
Okay, thank you guys so much. That was fantastic. That makes me want to run to Ghana and have some of that yummy fufu. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, and just to add one point to what Amelia and Emmy said, this is a fantastic opportunity for a couple reasons. And first, as a pure learning opportunity, you get so much more that you can't possibly approximate in Peterborough or Ontario, or wherever, behind a desk. You just understand things in a much more real way than would have been possible otherwise. And then secondly, if you want to do anything in international, it doesn't have to be development, but international, you're put on a different pile if you've done something like this, because what it signals to prospective employers is that you can adapt in situations where you're out of your comfort zone. So for both these reasons, these are fantastic programs. It's the only one I'm aware of in Canada that goes over the course of an entire year, and it's completely integrated into the curriculum. So it's definitely worth some thought. So anyway, we have a couple minutes left. And Zach, Madison, Emily, Kristen, we're super chill at Trent. This is totally informal. So please, if you have any questions, please just fire them out to us. We'd sure like to chat with you. Anything, you can put them in the chat or just pipe up. Oh, okay. Well, you can always get in touch with it. You can email us. Just go online and you can email me, and then I'll put you in touch with Emily or Amelia if you want to chat with them, or else I'll be glad to ask more. So we have 2 minutes. So maybe I can just ask Amelia and Emmy, with the benefit of hindsight, in retrospect, given that now you were where the prospective students are 5 years ago. So maybe, Amelia, give me a sense, how have you changed in your 5 years here at Trent? And Emmy, what did you get from TIG, from Trent and Ghana, that you couldn't have got here? Amelia, you got a minute.
Yeah, okay. Well, I could speak about this forever, but the IDS program has changed my life, and so has TIG. I'm a totally different person than who I was before. I was so shy and insecure, and I always had opinions, but I could never express them, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I never felt comfortable, but like this program has made me really feel comfortable being myself and coming out and doing all these things that I've always wanted to do, like joining clubs and like using my voice for social change is what I'm trying to do, at least. Making friends, like I have made so many lifelong friends, and um I feel connected to the world around me because I understand all of these processes that are happening all of the time. Like, you understand all of this nuance, and yeah, I mean, I could go on forever, but literally I feel like so like, that's not a word. Blossomed. If I can say that about myself.
That's a really great response. Well, it does look like we have run out of time, unfortunately. This has been a very informative and very interesting presentation. Thank you all so much. I would like to take a moment to thank the members of our panel for being here with us today and sharing their knowledge with us. This session has been recorded and will be posted to our open house webpage if you wish to review the session again or any of our other sessions taking place today. I would like to invite you to come and visit our campuses. We are hosting in-person tours as well as in-person spring open house events. Register today to join us on campus for an event. As there are lots of other great sessions starting soon, we will let you all go to join whatever else may be of interest to you. And if you have missed anything today, as I mentioned, they are being recorded and will be posted online for your viewing pleasure. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of this event.